A lot of Detroit Lions fans had high hopes for Trinity Benson, wide receiver from Denver, when we acquired him in a trade right before the training camp really began before the 2021 season. He came from Denver. The Detroit Lions gave up a fifth and a seventh round pick coming up in this draft for Trinity Benson and a sixth round in next year's NFL draft. So we don't get that until 2023. In Denver, as a practice squad guy, and during the training camp, he was really a breakout star over there. And when we traded him, all you heard was good things about him. Then he gets over here and he does not only doesn't do that well, has almost little to no playing time. I think one of the biggest knocks on Trinity Benson is the value of the trade, the hype machine that he was coming from Denver, and the fact that with the Detroit Lions, he only had 10 catches for 103 yards. We didn't mortgage the future for this guy, but we wind up giving up a fifth and a seventh in this coming NFL draft. If you look at the 2021 draft, where we started the Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell regime, we had inherited 5 draft picks from Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. We did give up a conditional 6th-round pick to acquire a midseason Everson Griffin for the 2020 NFL season. Brad Holmes comes out today and says that Trinity Benson was never intended to really be a factor in the 2021 season. I think that the reason that this trade is looked at as kind of suspect, and it really was the biggest blemish on Brad Holmes' draft and his skill set thus far, especially coming from the Rams, was Trinity Benson. He only gets in front of the media a couple of times like most GMs do. So he got in front right before the season began to talk about Trinity Benson, and we're expecting this guy to come in and show out. The Detroit Lions never had a number 1 receiver, and we're thinking, okay, Trinity Benson is going to be that guy. But turns out that the expectations we might have set on Trinity Benson was too high, because Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes never intended for Trinity to be a factor in this season. That is, if you believe what he said on 97.1 The Ticket during the interview. I kind of do. My thing is, I think that I might have built up, maybe we as fans, because we gave up a 5th and a 7th, because we could have had 12 draft picks, and because we heard all this stuff from Denver, we're like, this guy, he gonna come out and show out. Then we got a lot of guys on 1-year deals. We had 3 wide receivers walk away in free agency. Kenny Galladay, we weren't gonna pay him what he was asking for. I think he wanted a 4-year deal. We weren't not willing to give him that, and that wound up being a great deal. Then we signed Khalif Raymond for a year, Brashard Perriman for a year, Tyrell Williams for a year. It's just a bunch of year guys. With Cephas was going into his 2nd year, and Amon-Ra was a rookie. So we only had 2 wide receivers on our team really beyond this year. So when it came to Trinity Benson, we acquired him in the trade, all this stuff from Denver. The Denver media was like, this kid's this kid's that. And then we only see him on the field. And when we did see him on the field, he looked like a lost puppy out there dropping balls and stuff like that, that he even got benched for a point. Trinity Benson was such an anomaly that it was almost impossible to find any NFL footage on this guy. Everybody immediately was looking at, let me see what we gave up a 5th and a 7th for, and I didn't find anything from the NFL. And you know, on YouTube you can find anything, but I didn't see any play from Trinity Benson when this trade happened. So I kind of knew some questions of if Trinity Benson would be cut as we're approaching the 2022 season. And I pretty much knew that he wouldn't, because there's no way that we could have had 12 draft picks potentially. We're going to give up 2 for a guy that was such a failure. We're going to let him go. Did I think he was that raw? I didn't know that, because like I said, you couldn't find anything in the NFL on Trinity Benson. And then when he got out there, he was, a no-show. So I'm curious to see if Trinity Benson is going to be what Brad Holmes thinks he is. He did say something at the end like, we'll see if it works out. So I think he's leaving that room for a potential way out. To be honest, I think that's the only major blemish on Brad Holmes so far, is seeing what Trinity Benson, the fact that he was not a factor this year and his potential. But if you think about it, this rebuild is going to be a multi-year thing. So getting a receiver that you have that much faith in, that you completely bypass the first year to the 2nd and 3rd, I could see that happening, because the Detroit Lions are so different, so much in a different space than they were last year, that I could see him planning toward the future. And I like that, because that means that we're trying to think about this thing long term and just not right away, like the LA Rams are trying to do. With what Brad Holmes said, do you believe that Trinity Benson is going to be a stud or a dud coming up in the near future for the Detroit Lions? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. My name is Derek. This is Detroit Lions Syndicate. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to the YouTube channel. We're about 29 or so away from 700 subscribers on our quest to be at 1,000 by the Super Bowl. So if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel for more Detroit Lions content, I would appreciate that. I will see you guys on Monday when we pick this thing up again. You guys have a great day, and as always, go Lions.